Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wealth Within Reach. We're back to episode 3 of my new series, Reinvention. All right, if you have been following me for a while and you're like, why are we not talking about real estate? Just as a reminder, I decided to do this reinvention series as we close out the year 2025. I believe that wealth is not just about how much money you have in your bank account. Wealth starts with you, your mindset, your faith, your relationships. And so, as we plan and start thinking about 2026 and what we want to do and what we want to spend our time and what we want our plans to look like, it's important for us to pause, reflect, really take stock, take inventory of where we are. And a lot of people are in a place where you just want something different. You are feeling the weight of everything happening in the world. Some people may be feeling trapped. Some people may just be at a fork in the road and are ready for a new season, a new chapter. And for me, as I just turned 40 and just re entering this place of reinvention and using all of my lessons from my 30s to really help inform me as I move forward in my 40s. My 40s, I am in a season of becoming, of taking those lessons, taking those losses, turning them into really where I'm going to be going moving forward. So this is what this series is about. So we're going to get back to all the real estate strategy stuff, all of that stuff. But in the meantime, we are laying the foundation. We are resetting. We are reflecting. We are talking about the things that we don't talk about enough that really, at the end of the day, hold us back from doing all the things like the real estate stuff, like the moves, like the taking risk, all of that. Okay. So if you haven't checked out the first 2 episodes of this series, I absolutely recommend you go back and watch it. The first episode was about reinvention, why it's important, what that means to reinvent. The second one was about trying, the gift of trying, and how perfectionism holds us back from actually trying. And today, isn't that what the young people do? They do this. Today, it's all about the messy middle. We're talking about the in between. We're talking about the spaces where it's very easy to grow weary. It's very easy to give up. It's very easy to lose hope. That's what we're talking about today. How to navigate the messy middle that oftentimes does not make the highlight reel. Okay? So, before we get into the messy middle, I want to take a moment and pause for a second. I want to take a moment to pause and talk to the woman who is in a place of really feeling like I really want to live life on my own terms. But right now, where I am, whether it's a job, whether it's just a season of life I'm in, my situation is holding me back. I want to talk to you for a second. I know that feeling all too well. And if I'm honest, it really did take a lot of breathing room to be able to get to the place of feeling like I actually can live life on my own terms. And for me, that breathing room was created through real estate, through entrepreneurship. All right. So that was the vehicle that God used for me to help me to get to a place to create options and to provide margin in my life. We don't talk about enough the benefits of not having to show up today every day and make money. We don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about how having financial options gives you the opportunity to rest, to pause, to be able to take care of yourself, to invest in yourself, to invest in your mental health, to grieve. We don't talk about that. And for me, taking risk and investing in real estate helped me to get to that place. It gave me time for options for extra time with my kids, options for extra time to invest in myself, my energy, all the things. So, if you've been feeling that tug towards freedom and more alignment in your life, and you feel like your current life has boxed you in to where you currently are mentally, then I want to invite you to check out the Owning It and Living It Mastermind. This is my high touch 12-month coaching program where I walk you through step by step how to build your real estate portfolio with confidence, how to stop overthinking and take action finally, how to create financial options that match your lifestyle so that you can do what God is calling you to do, and how to navigate all these things with support, with strategy, systems, community. I get around other high achieving Black and brown women who are also doing it too. So you're not doing it alone. So if this is something that your spirit is like, oh, this may be for me, I need this, then I want you to click the link in the show notes to learn more about the mastermind. And if it's something that you're interested in, you can actually book a call with me and we can chat to see if it's the right program for you. Okay? Cool. Now, let's get into today's conversation. The messy middle. Oh, this is the hard part, okay? I ain't gonna lie. This is a part where it's just really easy to just like slide underneath that pillow, turn on the TV, binge watch, scroll, and just forget your problems. And sometimes that's what you got to do for a day or so, okay? I ain't gonna even lie, all right? But I'm gonna share with you my messy middle that I can at least recently remember that I did not see coming. Okay. So I don't know about you, but 2024 almost took me out. I feel like it almost took me out. It was really, really hard. Like really, really hard. And for me, it was really, really hard because I've been through a lot of hard things. So it's not just going through hard things. It was hardest for me because okay, y'all. I don't know about you, but 2024, I feel like it almost took me out. I ain't gonna even lie. Real talk. And it's not because I haven't went through other hard things in my life. Yes, I have. But 2024 was a situation where, you know, things were hard, both professionally and personally at the same time. Generally, you go through things in business or in your career, but for me, like home was fine, or you go through things at home, but business was fine. But man, they all kind of came together in 2024, and I was like, it's too much. All right. Um, and this was the exact time I was in the process of planning my biggest public event of the year and of my career. So showing up, having to show up personally, every day, you know um and so having to show up consistently publicly while my personal life was having a hard time, but also business was really tricky. It was hard. It was hard professionally, it was hard privately, and it felt like I was just being stretched with no room to really come up for air. It just felt so tight. On social media, everything looked together. Everything would look organized and polished and exciting. But behind the scenes, I was overwhelmed. I was exhausted, really battling so many moments of doubt. And it wasn't a situation where I could just like not move forward. Like I had really, really um, expensive commitments that I had to honor, right? And so that's an example of my season of the messy middle. It shows up a lot of times. The messy middle will show up right before you're elevating. So here's what that season taught me. It taught me that friction always comes before the breakthrough. Friction always comes before the breakthrough, always. But here's the thing: if you quit because there's friction, then you miss out on the lesson that God is trying to teach you during that moment of stressing. But here's the thing: if you quit in the friction, then you miss out on the lesson that God is trying to teach you during that moment of stretching. Okay? Here's the truth about my success that people do not see and have no idea. People will look at my journey and think that I'm fearless. Man, you did this, you put yourself out there. They assume it's easy. And it's not. It's not easy at all. They see the moves, they see the wins, they see, the leap of confidence to trying all these things, trying the 47 things. And I'm here to tell you that I am not fearless. It could not be further from the truth. All right. I have the same, questions and whispers and hesitations that most people have. I get afraid just like everyone else. I spiral sometimes too. Okay. I ain't gonna even lie. My mind goes into all the what ifs. What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? Here's a big one. I think about sometimes if I let myself spiral, especially when it comes to real estate, I will go all the way in. What I would go all the way to, let me tell y'all how crazy. I'm gonna let y'all in a little bit to the craziness of how my mind can go. Okay. It can go to a situation where I'm like, man, what if something happens with the government and they declare martial law and they stop paying Section 8 vouchers, and then all my tenants can't pay the rent, and then like I will just go and go and go with the best of them. Okay, for real, for real. Fear though, it doesn't disappear it just because you accomplish a lot of things. It's still there, right? Success does not erase fear whatsoever. If anything, it makes it kind of worse. Okay, it just gives you, it morphs into new versions. New fears come. I hear people talking about all the time, like the uber wealthy people don't even feel like they're uber wealthy. They're still like, oh well, this person has more than I do, or this person, So number one, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Number one is, this is why if you're chasing wealth for to feel valued or to feel peace, it's not gonna work. You just gonna be going. You just gonna be running. Okay. It's not for that. So it's important to recognize that you don't arrive when you become successful. You don't stop being afraid when you become successful. But this is the difference between myself and other successful people versus people who are not. I do not let fear lead me. Okay. I do not let fear lead me. I am not driven by my fear. I don't stay stuck there. When I go on those spiral moments and I want to go on LinkedIn and find a job, because I ain't going to even lie. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years next March. I was telling a client this the other day. I was like, there have been plenty of times where I will go on LinkedIn and look for a job. Let me tell you where I end up stopping. I end up stopping when they said you have to fill out a resume. I'm like, a resume? I would have no idea where to start. That's where I'm like, I kind of like snap out of it. I'm like, okay, get together. I don't let fear drive me. I acknowledge the fear, and then I ask myself, here are the questions that I ask myself to pull myself out of that spiral. What am I believing right now? Okay, that's a big one. Am I being deceived, or am I just caught up with something? What am I believing right now? Is what I'm believing actually true or false? All right. Remember last episode, I gave you this quote about Mark Twain. From Mark Twain, he talked about how he spent so much of his life held back because he was mentally focusing on things that didn't even take place. We rehearse these battles in our mind when we're not even at war. Like, what? So a part of this process, what am I believing? Number one, is it actually true or is it false? Okay. Then I bring in the facts. I bring in data. And I also, one of the things that I do that's really important during these times is I will actually look at my journal and look at prayers that I prayed previously. And then I see how God answered those prayers. And in 2024, for me, what this meant was not only looking back and seeing the prayers that God answered, it was daily writing down my prayers, big or small. I started writing them down and then daily going back to read them. And there's a beauty in seeing God answer the little bitty small prayers and the big prayers as well. It helps you to realize that God has not forgotten about you. It helps you to show up and continue to be obedient. It helps you to show up and continue to do and go through the process and go through the weariness and the messy middle. For me, that was everything that really, really helped me to get through. And it reminded me that God has me covered. Okay. That I ain't out here by myself. God has me covered at the end of the day. And so, what the messy middle taught me about patience and identity, let's jump into that. It taught me that you cannot grow into the woman that God has called you to be without stretching. It taught me that you cannot grow into the woman that God has called you to be without stretching. All right. Stretching doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Even physical stretching may not feel good sometimes. Okay. It's like that process of going to the gym. When you first start going, you go and it's hard and you're sore. And then you're like, you feel like, man, I shouldn't be this sore. I shouldn't go back. But that's when you should actually go back. Your muscles are being activated. You're being refined. This process, this messy middle is the same way. All right. It takes you getting to that place of working through that muscle tension to get to the place of being toned and having the muscles and seeing the outward effects of the inward work that you've done. And that's what this messy middle process is as well. It doesn't feel cute. Okay. It doesn't feel like the Instagram highlight post. Okay. It doesn't, everything doesn't look aligned. It's uncomfortable. It exposes the pieces of you that still need to be refined, where still needs to take place. Stretching can also bring up old habits and old beliefs that resurface that you thought that you were over and you thought that you had grown, and you thought like, man, I'm still struggling with this. It brings all of that up. But instead of carrying this into your next season, you got to deal with it. Okay. Because we're becoming, right? We're going into the next season. We desire reinvention. A part of reinvention is some things can't come with you. Some bags got to go, right? We can't be a bag lady going into this next season. And so stretching, it will make you look at the version of yourself. Okay, stretch on me. So, stretching will make you look at the current version of yourself and what you've been holding on to, that so you can realize that she can't come where you're going. All this baggage, it can't come where you're going. Stretching is what really invites release for who you were to who you are becoming. All right. It's not punishment, it's preparation. It's God gently pulling you into more, making you that person that you prayed that you want to be. You are currently, even right now, living in your past answered prayers. Okay. That's what you're doing right now. So this is just continuing to help you move towards that more and more. Here's what God revealed to me during that messy. Here's what Here's what God revealed to me during that messy middle phase. There was this one moment that I realized that if I did not reframe my thoughts daily, I wasn't going to make it through this season. Like, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's day by day, it's moment by moment. It is a full dependence on the Lord. And so if you feel like you're in that place and you feel like you're alone, you don't know anybody else in this season, you're not. You're not alone. You are not alone. It's okay. It's okay to be needy. It's okay to be needy. Some of us, again, we're used to being the strong ones. We don't want to burden the people around us because we feel like oh, they got a lot going on. I don't want to put this stuff on them. God is not like that. God actually grows in our weakness. Our love for God grows in our weakness when He actually prefers for us to come into a needy posture. It's okay, right? You're not burdening the Lord by needing Him for moment by moment, all right? In some seasons, especially in the messy middle, that's what it's like. So, like I said, I started writing down my prayers, all of them, big or small, tracking those answers, and day by day. It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't just this like miraculous wake up and it's like everything is great. I just started to be hopeful again. I started to be able to I just started to be hopeful again. I just started to be excited again. And essentially, God gave me joy. Joy is different than happiness. Give me joy all day because joy is not. Give me joy all day because joy is not. Oh, okay. Give me joy all day because joy is not contingent on circumstances. Happiness, those emotions come and go, but joy is there all day and can't nobody take it from you. And so I started to see and feel more joyful. I started to be hopeful. And then my endurance began to grow a little by little. And that helped me to realize that the season that I was in wasn't permanent because it can feel like, oh my gosh, it's always going to be this way. And so I started to say, you know what? It's not going to always be this way. And some of you, y'all need that reminder. Y'all need that reminder today. You need a reminder that you are not stuck. You are being shaped. Okay. So here's the lie I want you to release about success. Okay. The lie is that I need you. Oh, start it over. Here is a lie that I want you to release about success. I want you to release the lie that successful people don't struggle with fear or doubt. It's not true. It's not true at all. Not for me, not for you, not for anyone. Success is not about being fearless, it's choosing to be faith led instead of fear led. Okay. Success is not about being fearless, it's about choosing. That means there's a choice, there's a decision to be faith led versus fear led. Okay. It's moving even when you don't feel it. Oh, it's moving even when you don't feel comfortable, even when you don't feel 100% certain, even when you don't have all the steps or know all the things. It's taking the next step while your voice is shaking. Okay? Sometimes that's it. It's trusting that God will handle the parts that you can't control. Because again, you don't control everything. That's the reality of the messy middle, y'all. That's it. So if you're in your own messy middle right now, you're not failing. This is not the end. This is not how life is going to always be. But you got to show up and do the work. Show up every single day and choose to be faith led. Choose to not be fear led. Okay? Every win I had has come with some type of messy middle. All right. There's you just no way you can skip it. There's not a shortcut way because what happens is if you think it's a shortcut and you try to take a shortcut, then you end up right back in the same place. And we don't want that. We want you to keep moving. We want you to keep growing and progressing. So I really appreciate y'all listening to this episode. Now, this episode, so next I appreciate y'all so much for listening to this episode. Next week, we're all. I really appreciate y'all listening to this episode. I hope that it blessed you. I hope that it gave you a little bit of endurance to keep going, to not grow weary in doing the work, doing the goodness. Next week is all about talking about walking in purpose for me, walking in purpose as I turn 40, leaving behind who I'm becoming, leaving behind who I'm becoming, and why this next, oh, can't talk today. Leaving behind what I'm becoming and why this next decade feels so different for me, okay? Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. If you're listening, please give me an all-star. Make sure you're just make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Again, share this with 3 friends that needs to hear this as well. And I will see you soon. All right. Bye.